Well, it won't prime. Customer says that it's running boggy. Let's go ahead, put it on choke. I can't get it started at all. Hey y'all, thanks for tuning back into Chickanic. I hope everybody's having a great week. Today up on the bench I have a customer's Husqvarna 125B. These are one of the top selling blowers there ever was, and they're a really good blower. In fact, I made a video many moons ago, a couple years ago, about all the problems that Echo, Husqvarna, and Steel have. And when I told you about the Husqvarna, I said right out of the box, this thing is a really good machine. The only issue that they have is their fuel lines. Over time, and it's the same way with their trimmers. The fuel line starts to deteriorate. It starts sucking that debris up into the carburetor. It'll clog the screen, which makes your carburetor diaphragms work harder, sucks them into the carburetor, and eventually you have to have a carburetor kit, fuel line, yada, yada. This one though, customer said that it was running, but it was running boggy. I can't even get it to start. So let's start diagnosing and see what's going on. Hopefully this video will save you some time, money, and frustration in the future. Now, when diagnosing any of these kind of machines, the first two things you want to check is compression and the fuel. So I'm going to go with checking the compression first, because even if I have bad fuel in it, if I don't have compression, I'm just wasting gas putting it in there. Get out the Mighty Vac compression tester. I do leave these in the description box below or at my Amazon store if you want to get one. Well, first off, that plug's seen better days. Just with a few pulls, I got 118 pounds. Pretty good. Now, people always ask, well, what is good compression? On any of these two strokes, if you have under 100 pounds of compression, I ain't working on it. It ain't worth fixing to me. That means something is worn out inside. It either needs a piston and cylinder or rings. If it has at least 110 or more, that's it's iffy, but it's worth trying. If it has 120, usually that's perfect. All right, while I've got the spark plug out, I'm gonna go ahead and take a peek inside the cylinder and just make sure that we don't have any scoring. Breaking out my HD endoscope by Depstech. This is the one with the articulating end on it, so I can go all over the place. And we're gonna make sure that your piston's all the way down before, everything looks beautiful in there. We still got our cross hatching. Let's look at the other side. Get it on the intake here. Intake looks really good for such an old blower. I think she's got some potential. All right, next let's check this gas. If you do not have any pipettes, this is the most important tool that I use on every single piece of equipment that I work on. I will leave them in the description box below or at my Amazon store if you want to get yourself some, because it is extremely convenient to be able to get down to the bottom of the tank where water or debris might be, suck it up and see what you're working with. All right, looks like we've got a good fuel mix here. It looks super green, like it's got some good Echo oil inside. I'm gonna suck from the bottom here, and what is this? It is clear as day. Let's take another suck. Still clear as day. We got water, guys. So look, if I get the gas on the top, see how that's green? So we might have not been priming either, but we also are full of water, so we got to get that out of there. Make sure when you pour your gas out that you continue to prime out anything. See that water that was inside the carburetor? Inside the fuel lines and your primer bulb. We want to make sure to get all of that out. Oh, wow. Look at how full of water that was. That's crazy. Now, it might be shocking to see that much water, but I see it all the time. Out of the 2,000 pieces of equipment that would come into the shop, about 70% of all the units that would come in the spring have water in them. And one thing these machines will not run on is water. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw another plug in it, put some fresh fuel in it, and see if she takes off. Now, a lot of times when I tell a customer that I found water in their machine and that they need to check their gas tank at home, they'll say, well, there's no way. I put it in all my machines and that's the only one that's having the issue. Well, that's because if you have your gas tank at home and it's got a bunch of water in the bottom of it, the water is heavier than the gasoline. So unless your gas tank is completely full, then you'll be pouring gasoline off the top. But if you only have like a half of a tank or a third of a tank of gas at home and you go to pour it, you're going to be tipping it all the way up to get that gas in there. The first thing to come out is water. So yeah, the first unit you fill up, it's going to be full of water. The next one you fill up might not. Now, one thing you do want to check while you have this thing apart is to make sure that your fuel line is still attached inside. A lot of times you'll see them just laying in the bottom of the tank. I already pulled on this one and it is still attached to the carburetor. But the fuel line was a little hard, so a lot of times when your fuel lines are hard, your diaphragms go right along with it. Hopefully, though, the gasoline is the fix. Now, this thing was not wanting to prime before, but looks like it's coming through now. You're going to want to prime it quite a few times to make sure that there's just gasoline through your system and none of that water left. Now, this is why I say it is so important to have a fuel stabilizer with water remover in it. Now, nothing is going to get rid of that much water. You definitely have to just dump your tank or suck it all out from the bottom. But those little last remnants that are in there, you're still going to want to use something like ethanol shield to make sure that it combines with the water and burns off through your piston and cylinder. Especially the time of the season it is with storing, definitely make sure you have ethanol shield in all of your equipment. I will leave links to it in the description box below. So now that we're priming, I'm going to put her on choke. Let's see if she pops off. Third pull. Put her on half choke. Now, if you find out that your compression's great and your fuel is great and you have a fuel line or a carburetor issue, I've already made a video for that showing how to do the entire replacement of your fuel line assembly and a carburetor kit. I will leave a link to that in the description box below. So guys, this is your reminder before you go to the repair shop and spend money you do not need to. Always check your fuel. An easy way is to have these pipettes. If it's something larger like your Ryder, I get these fuel extractors. I add a little fuel line to the end of it so I can get all the way to the bottom of the tank, suck it up, see what's in there. That way you'll know if you've got water in your tank. It's a super big problem with a super easy fix. And hopefully it'll save you some time, money, and frustration in the future. So guys, thanks again for tuning into Chickanic. If you find yourself coming back over and over again, think about hitting that subscribe button. And if you ain't tired of me yet, check this video out right here.